Hey guys, good morning. I'm just trying to pin. Okay, never mind. I don't think I know how to do this. Alright, anyway, good morning everyone. How is everyone feeling today? Till we wait for more people to join, why don't you all write in the chat box and tell me how are you guys feeling on this Saturday morning? So, everyone, I'm Jasdeep Margot. While we wait for everyone, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Jasdeep Margot. I am a neuropsychologist and a counselor. And I'm here on Nykaa's birthday weekend, which I'm super excited about, to talk about mental well being with all of you. And I know it's such a relatable topic right now because we're all so overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, and fearful about what's going on, and this has been going on for a whole year. So we're here to talk about how can we find our happy fix. And I'm sure you've all had a really long week. Um, and this, I hope, is a really good end to your week and a really good start to your weekend. So we're going to learn some daily tips and tricks on how do we stay uplifted, stay positive, and avoid stress and anxiety. So in the meanwhile, why don't you guys tell me how are you guys feeling? Yes, happy birthday to Nykaa. How is everybody feeling today? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling tired? Are you stressed out? Are you anxious? Are you excited about this live? Are you feeling relaxed because it's the weekend? Why don't you let me know? All right, then. Most of you seem like you're doing really well. Hello, everybody. So, I'm going to dive right into this. So, we're here, obviously. Everybody knows how the situation is right now. We are in a pandemic and we've been in this scenario for over a year now, and it's not getting any easier. We still have the same struggles we had as before, and in fact, for some of us, those struggles are even more amplified than before. And we are all sort of, there's work from home, there's financial concerns, there's the news, there's negativity, there's the fear of losing a job, losing a loved one, falling sick, not getting the vaccine, there's anxiety, there's loneliness, there's grief. There's also the feeling of helplessness and the isolation that's causing, that's really after a point getting to all of us. So I just want to start by saying that it is okay. It's okay for you to feel these emotions. It's okay for you to have these emotions. It's okay to feel any of them, scared, lonely, fearful, whatever it is. It is absolutely okay because we are in an extraordinary scenario that none of us know how to or were prepared how to deal with. So it's absolutely okay for you to feel these things. Please do not judge yourself for it. So, I'm going to get into what we should do in order to help ourselves when we're feeling these things and feel a little more uplifted, a little more positive, a little happier. So, I think the first thing that I'd like to start with is kindness and compassion. So, point number one is kindness and compassion. And this kindness and compassion begins with you. You have to start being kind to yourself when you are feeling low, when you are feeling anxious. Please don't judge yourself. That's not going to help. It's only going to make that feeling bigger and badder. So please start with saying, it's okay that I'm feeling this. I'm human. I'm allowed. And the kindness and compassion then moves more into understanding that where is this feeling coming from and how can I help myself. But if I begin with judgment, I'm never going to get to the point of helping myself. I'm always going to remain in judgment. So it's very important to be kind to you, and then you'll be able to derive to a solution or reach to a solution. The second thing that I'd like to talk about, which is really important, is daily routine. Now, you may ask that why is daily routine important to be positive or to be happy? Our daily routine, which includes our sleep-wake cycle, which includes food and nutrition and exercise, these three factors, the timings that we do them with the regularity and the continuity that we are able to maintain our daily routine actually controls a lot of aspects of our body, a lot of hormonal aspects of our body. And if we are able to manage those hormonal aspects, then the stability in our mood comes about pretty automatically. So, and what I mean by stability and continuity in your routine is try and stay consistent in your sleep wake cycle. So, our circadian rhythm, which is our sleep wake cycle, try to stay consistent with it, that you somewhat sleep and somewhat wake up at the same time every day. Second thing is food. Are you having all three meals? Are your meals nutritious enough? Are they eaten at the same time every day, or are they very erratic and there's no schedule there? That can also cause irritability, anger, frustration. It can cause acidity, and acidity can lead to a lot of other emotional issues. So our mind and body is very deeply connected. And the third aspect into routine is exercise. Now, when I say exercise, I don't mean that you need to go to the gym or you need to do heavy lifting or any of those things. What I simply mean is it's important for you to move your body. Now, why is it important? It's important because when we exercise our body, when we move it, when we create movement, we release endorphins, which are the happy hormone in our brain. And this happy hormone, obviously by the name, like as it says, creates and gives you a boost of happiness. So why shouldn't we avail of a free source of happiness that is there for all of us? So just give this a thought and think about, if I can even get a 15-minute walk in between two meetings of mine while I'm on Zoom, or if I can combine that, if I can be on a call and walk a little bit in the house, or if I can just if you're feeling like you can't concentrate, then a great thing to do is get up, do that 10 jumping jacks, and then sit back down, and you'll realize that your concentration and focus is back. You must try this. I definitely do this, which is why I always recommend it. Coming to the next point, which is, a lot of people have asked that how do we stay positive in a negative environment when everything around us is creating so many negative feelings? How do we stay positive in that environment? So I think here what I'd like to emphasize is that do not force positivity, because that can be toxic for you. So that's the first thing that I'd like to reiterate. And please listen to this carefully. Do not force positivity. You can't force yourself or someone else to think positively all the time. When you do that, it actually creates what we call toxic positivity, which is positivity that's not helping you. So when you are trying to enforce a new habit in you, please ask yourself, is this helping me or is this harming me? And that will help you keep a boundary. And that's the answer. The answer of staying positive during a negative environment is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries with news, social media, toxic people, stressful situations, stressful environments. So it's what really is causing the stress, to set a boundary with that, to ensure that after a certain extent, I will not expose myself to this particular trigger. Like news or social media, I'll take that as an example. What happens generally is we're watching all these, we're looking at the news on social media, or we're looking at the news elsewhere, and or people are posting about a lot of factors that's going on around the world or where we live, or asking for resources. And of course, it's something that everyone must do in order to if for their own purposes. But if I as an individual am getting triggered by looking at these messages, by looking at these posts, I am allowed to take a step back and choose to draw a line and decide that, okay, up to a certain extent, for it's like 30 minutes a day, if I use Instagram, it's fine. But beyond that, when I'm using it, if it's really bogging me down, it's really causing a feeling of lowness, it's causing anxiety, it's causing a restless feeling within me, I then need to draw a line and tell myself that now this is not helping me, this is harming me. And always ask yourself that, because a lot of people will tell me, how can I stop listening to the news, or how can I stop hearing the news? So I always in that situation tell them that the news, is it helping you or is it harming you? You need to ask yourself that question. So I hope you can apply that with several things in your life. It's a very simple, funda to just ask yourself in that moment, and it definitely works. Um, Another thing that I would like to talk about in coping with negative thoughts, negative feelings, is one mistake that we all do is we ignore these thoughts. We try to distract ourselves. We try to ignore these thoughts. We try to be like, no, they don't exist, or we try to push them out of our consciousness. I feel like that is one of the biggest coping strategies that is predominantly used by people. But I'm here to burst that bubble for you guys that does not work. Distraction is, of course, a good technique and can and must be used. However, if the question or the negative thought is coming back to your mind repetitively over and over and over again, then it's important to address that thought. It's important to tell yourself that now I need to sit with this thought and reflect on it. That what is this thought what is this thought about? Why is it coming up? What is it making me feel? And also to then address it as, is it an anxiety thought? For example, if you have these what if thoughts in your mind, that what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if my mother falls sick, and what if I get COVID, and what if we don't get a bed, and all of these what if questions, I would say, let's use this technique called fear setting. Fear setting is you write all of these what if thoughts down of yours. What if I lose my job? What if I get a pay cut? What if I get COVID? All of these what if situations. Then in the next column, we write, how do we prepare for these situations? So you can say, I can prepare by, taking all the health precautions, being careful, speaking to all the doctors, all of those things. And in the repair, then we have a third column, which is the repair column. In the repair column, it is, you basically write down that if my prepare column, that's if my plan A does not work and I still, for example, end up getting COVID, then how will I repair this? How will I act in when the situation has occurred, rather than preemptively acting? So that this fear setting process will really help you realize that most of my fears are not that big and they're not that scary, and I can do this, I can handle it, I can take care of it, which is a great feeling to feel. It makes you feel in control. And talking about control brings me to the next coping strategy to deal with these negative thoughts, these anxiety thoughts. It's very, very important to know when things are in your control and when they are not. And out of all the worries you have, so there are going to be 100 worries that you have in your life. It's natural to worry about several things at once. So if in this circle of worries, if you start putting down all your worries in this big circle, saying, I'm worried about my job, worried about my parents, worried about myself, worried about blah, 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 100 things, then I would like you to make a smaller circle within that and put into place, put in that circle, add all the things that out of your worries, what is in your control. So we may have 100 worries, but within those only probably 5 may be in our control. The point is to simply focus only on what we have influence or control over, so that we feel more in charge and we can actually do something about it rather than just worrying about it. So it's more solution focused rather than problem focused. And you can definitely try this. It's super helpful. Another thing that I can suggest is you can journal your thoughts. If you have these negative thoughts, you can always journal them. You can journaling is basically the technique of writing down what you're thinking and feeling at a given point in time in order to find a release or find a release for those thoughts and feelings. to find a vent. So sometimes we feel like, oh, I can't talk to anybody about this problem, and that's a good place. That can be a good example to start writing those feelings down. And now there are so many applications online that you can use for journaling. So it assists you. You don't even have to enforce it on yourself. Um, Coming to the next point is gratitude. I know that we've all heard this before, that practice gratitude, practice gratitude. What we mean by practicing gratitude is acknowledging every day in your life what is going well for you. What are you thankful for today? So sometimes people tell me that every day my gratitude list is the same. I say thank you, or I say I feel grateful for the same things. What I'd actually recommend here is, instead of generically looking at your overall life, look at each day. So, for example, today I am grateful for having this opportunity to speak to so many of you. Now, this obviously is not going to be consistent every day. I'm not going to be able to add this to my gratitude list every day. So, it's very important to, in that moment, like, to pick something that happened today that you're grateful for. And of course, overall, I'm grateful for having a house, having a job, having a loving family, having support, having financial security. I'm grateful for all of these things. But today, what am I grateful for? Today, what struck out for me in my day? So I think you should apply this and see how it's working for you. Initially, you may not feel uplifted immediately, but over time, you'll start to realize how this practice of gratitude is so uplifting. And the one of the most important points that I want to get to is speaking about social support. What is social support? Social support is the people who are near and dear to us, who understand us, trust us, love us, and are here to support us, to be there for us when we are in a difficult time, and vice versa, for you to be there for them. Our social support circle at this point is one of the most important things. I know that we have to stay physically distant from each other in order to protect each other, in order to stay safe. But we do not have to stay socially distant from each other. And please think about that once again. Physical distance is not the same as social distance. I can still stay connected, engaged, and interactive with the people who bring me a sense of joy and a sense of upliftment. So, how and why should we do this? Of course, how it right now, probably the only form is online, internet. We have technology, we must use it to our benefit. Um, but why should we do this? Why do we need to do this? Every time we pull ourselves away from our social support system, we start to feel a lack of willingness to, we start to lose motivation. We start to lose motivation to work. We start to feel low, bogged down, and we start to feel very isolated. Even though mentally we know that we are close to these people and that's not changing, but physically, or physically or socially, when that distance is created, it starts to make you feel a sense of void, a sense of isolation, a sense of loneliness that some of us may have never experienced before. So it's very new and very alarming to some of us to feel this emotion. And therefore, it's so important, so important to stay connected. And I understand that sometimes we feel like we don't want to make the effort, we don't want to be on another phone call, or we don't want to be on another Zoom call. Find a different way, find a entertaining way for y'all to interact with each other. Y'all can play online games together, which is a great way to stay connected, stay engaged, and still feel joy of being with that individual in some form. Social support is another very big form of releasing oxytocin in our brains, which is another happy hormone in our mind, which sort of helps us ease anxiety and ease the feeling of loneliness. And this is such an important thing for us to do. Um, and if there is at any point, this is something that I'd love to I mean, I feel like I have to reiterate to everybody here is, if you feel like you cannot talk to your near and dear ones because of whatever reason, because you don't want to stress them out, you don't want to be a burden, you don't want to, you think they'll not understand you, you think they'll judge you, for any of those reasons, you don't want to talk to your social support system, that is your friends and your family or your colleagues, I would urge you to seek help from a professional or from a helpline or from a support group that can help you in that situation. So sometimes, we are going through so much right now, and sometimes we may feel like I'm not able to handle this myself, but I'm also not able to reach out to someone and talk about it. I want you to reflect and break that barrier. Reach out, speak to someone, ask just speak to someone and say, you know what, I've been feeling really not okay. um, can we talk about this, or is this just me, am I feeling this? And more often than not, you will find support, you will find someone telling you that, I'm feeling the same way, it's been really tough, and this whole time it's been a challenging situation, now more than ever. So yeah, I'm glad and I'm grateful that you told me how you're feeling, because I feel the same way. Just feeling connected, feeling like you belong, feeling like you can relate to someone else can solve half the problem. And that's genuinely the truth. If I feel like I belong, if I feel connected, if I feel uh, that, I'm not alone, just the feeling of I'm not alone, then that itself is enough for us to start feeling more uplifted, to start feeling less anxious and less fearful. So this is, I mean, and if there is nobody in your support circle that you can have this conversation with, please, please, please reach out. There are so many resources, there are so many professionals now working for free. There are so many people, there are so many free social support groups where you can join and discuss what you're feeling, and there'll be other people discussing what they're feeling, and that is a great feeling when you feel like you have a community where you belong in a way. It's a great feeling to have. If there are helplines that you can reach out to, please know that you're not alone at all, that someone somewhere is going through what you're going through, and someone somewhere is there to help you with what you're going through. I'm just going to recap quickly what we discussed, just for the people who've tuned in later. So we spoke about being kind and compassionate towards ourselves, accepting our emotions and not judging them. Secondly, we spoke about daily routine, which is sleep, food and nutrition, and exercise. How we need to maintain these three, keep them continuous and consistent, and how that is connected so deeply to our body. And managing both mind and body is so important. The next thing we spoke about was setting boundaries with what is really not healthy for you. So asking yourself, is this helping me or is this harming me? And setting a boundary then. Um, the next thing we spoke about was fear setting. Fear setting is um, creating a plan A and plan B for all the fearful thoughts in your mind. We also spoke about the circle of control and the circle of concern and the circle of control. So your bigger circle of concerns and your smaller circle of control. So focusing on all things that are in our control in our life, and trying to be more solution focused rather than problem focused. The next thing we also spoke about was practicing gratitude, and how we can practice gratitude every day by trying to be grateful for something about your day every day. I also suggested journaling your thoughts, writing down all your thoughts, your feelings at the end of the day or while the situation is taking place. And there are apps to assist us with this. Staying at the next, of course, and the most important thing we spoke about was staying physically distant but socially connected with our social support circle, and reaching out when we reaching out when we feel like we can't handle this on our own and we need help, and there's no shame in asking for that help. Thank you so much for listening. I can take probably one or two questions if you like. So if you have any questions related to mental health and related to what we spoke about now, please shoot it, and I'm happy to take two questions before I sign off. आई होप दिस सेशन हैज़ हेल्प्ड यू गाइज. हाँ, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकती हूँ. आप पूछिए, क्वेश्चन पूछिए, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकती हूँ. I hope this session has helped you with dealing with your anxiety, your fears, your staying positive, staying uplifted during this time. All right, doesn't look like you guys have any questions. What to do when you feel anxious? I just suggested you can use fear setting. You can focus on what's in your control, and you can journal your thoughts, and most importantly, you can seek support from your support circle, and just vent to them and feel not alone in the situation. Most probably that is the solution you need. So anxiety doesn't affect your hormones. Your hormones actually cause anxiety. So change in a thyroid gland, change in different hormones can actually cause you to feel more anxious, not vice versa. Yes, we will save the video. All right, I think most of the questions that are being asked have already been answered. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you all are staying safe and staying home and staying sane also. Please take care of your mind and your body. And I hope to see you on the other side. You can follow me on Jasdeep Margo or on Invisible Illness India, and I'll see you guys there. Take care. Bye.